so happy to have a closing that has moderate weather. Had you been here in June, you know it was super hot, and for the closing last year it was 95 degrees, and that is not an exaggeration. So we are so pleased to have perfect temperature for our time of year. And so I'm going to start. My name is Catherine Weber, and I'm the Program Director of Art on the Trails, and this is our second year of juried installations on the trail. The theme this year is called Unexpected Gestures. And we're going to be walking these trails today with poets who have written poetry about this artwork. Each of you can get yourself a copy of the book if you'd like to carry it with you and read along with the poets. They'll also be available at the end if you don't get them ahead of time. So before we go, I'd like to say a few words, and I'm going to have a few other people talk about this program. Jean Mineo, who was the juror of the art this year, for 10 years she was the curator of the director of the Boston Sculpture Gallery. And she came to us with a lot of experience with outdoor artwork. She chose from the many submissions, proposals, a group of work that she felt best responded to the theme Unexpected Gestures. And you will see in many cases they're very unexpected, and some of them are very integral to the environment, some of them are very, they stand out. Her quote about the artwork was, "The artists of Unexpected Gestures provide humor, respite, and surprises for visitors to further engage with the natural beauty of this special place." With this second annual installation, the Beals Preserve has become a place to gather and exchange ideas while demonstrating how observations of the natural world can grow into artistic endeavor. With that said, I'm asking Whitney Beals to please come and say a few words about Beals Preserve.
Thank you, Catherine. Well, it's great to see a big crowd here. It's terrific. It's hard to believe that back and up until the 1970s, I moved into the big yellow house there on the corner when I was 4 years old. My parents moved here from Shrewsbury, and pretty soon after acquiring the house and the land behind it, my dad was concerned about the future of this parcel of land, because a dairy farmer across the street, which is now the CSA operation over there, the dairy farmer, this was summer pasture for his herd of cows. It's about, I think he was milking about 35 or 40 head. So when I was a boy, my brother and I would spend every hour that we could over here walking these pastures, and I guess making the cows run every once in a while, which we shouldn't have done. Doesn't help milk production. But since that time, you take away the herbivores, at least the big herbivores. We still have quite a few deer on the property that come through, and Mother Nature takes over very rapidly, so things grow up quickly. But my folks decided, I guess in the late 90s, early 2000s, that this was such a wonderful place that it really would be terrific to have it enjoyed by the general public. And so they donated the property to the Southborough Open Land Foundation, and there was a conservation restriction on the land as well, which was donated to Sudbury Valley trustees. So I'm the president of Southborough Open Land Foundation. Those of you who live in Southborough and aren't members, we would encourage you to join. We have some expenses, and we have our eyes on a couple of other pieces of land we'd like to protect. We have a number of properties scattered around town. If you look for the signs, you'll see them, a little rooster symbol, and enjoy those properties too. Some of them do have walking trails as well. So it's terrific to see so many people here. Everybody just seems to enjoy these 2 years of art on the trail, and come back even if the art disappears. Come back and enjoy a walk. It's a good place to walk a dog as well. Thank you, Catherine.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Whitney. this program this time of year is a lot about the poetry. I'd like to introduce you to our poetry jurors, Maura Snell and Cynthia Franca, and they're going to talk to you about the program that you're about to experience.
Thank you, Catherine. So hold that. Yeah. Oh gosh, here, hold that a little bit. Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for coming. My name is Cynthia Franca. This is Maura Snell. You are the editors and jurors of this project, and with the editors with Catherine Weber. Since the opening in June, and over the course of four full months, many private tours were offered here for the poets and for the public in general. And in association with the art exhibition, poets were invited to walk the trails and write poetry in response to the art installed here. Almost 50 original poems were submitted by local and regional poets for the 2018 Art on the Trails Unexpected Gestures project. Now Maura will talk a little bit about the journey.
Okay, good. First of all, thank you so much for coming in and participating. We had like almost double the amount of poems this year submitted, and it was such a great journey, I think, for us as the readers of this poetry, putting together the book, to see just the interpretations and the thoughts and feelings and how people interacted with the art in all different ways. It was really amazing to see. And I have to say it was very difficult to decide what was going in the book. And then when I sent everything to Dee Dee Jackson, our final judge, she had such a hard time. She said, I'm taking days and days to read through again and again and again because she loved it. And she is a professor at UVM and also a poet. And this is her shtick. She loves this. She loves poetry in response to art. So she was incredibly impressed. And I just would like to announce our winner of the poetry contest at this time. So Dee Dee sent me, we exchanged many emails back and forth, and finally she made her decision, and she said, I'd like to select 13 Aspects of a Nest by Zach Boss, as she loved the surprise in image and language. So congratulations. So this is kind of exciting because this is the first year that we're actually can give a prize. So we hope to keep doing this. So this would be really great. Does anyone have any questions about the process? I know that so many of you participated. It's like we just asked you to walk through and write something. You didn't have to know anything beforehand except just go and experience the art. And I just hope that your journey was as cool and as exciting as ours was in this process too. Thank you. Okay. Oh, she has something to. Are you ready? Yeah.
Okay. I can't start this program without my long list of thank yous. There are so many people who made this happen, and without all these people, I can't even tell you how honored I am to be able to work with the professional artists and poets, with Maura, with Cynthia, and so I'm just going to read. So many people to thank and organizations that make this program happen. To the Southborough Open Land Foundation for welcoming and supporting this program onto their property. To our major funder, Southborough Community Fund, who's provided us with the bulk of the funds to run this program. To the Massachusetts Cultural Council for a grant. To Staples for donating printing services. And specifically for today's event, I want to thank the amazing crew who provided their time and labor to make this day special. Paul Weber's over there at the table pouring Prosecco. That's my husband. Todd Vroman, I believe, is still up in the woods with yet more platters of food. When you see him, please thank him. He put his all into today. His son, Ben Vroman, was playing guitar here and also helped with lugging stuff into the woods. My son, Ben Weber, who's megaphoning over here. For Amy Casatli, for Whitney, and by the way, Whitney Beals just spent probably the last week pulling invasives, mowing down meadows, doing everything to get us ready. There was a tree blocking a trail. He was in there with a hard hat yesterday. I mean, honest to God, everybody give Whitney a hug when you see him.
Going home.
And just, again, for all of you who support this program by walking these trails every day and enjoying the art, I can't tell you how big my heart feels to see you all here today. So now I'm leaving it up to Maura and Senchia to move you along the trail. We're going to be walking to each installation, and if you look in the book, you'll see which poem will be read, and the poet who's reading takes the mic from me and then goes and stands in front of the piece and reads their work.
You're ready.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Catherine. So we're going to start right where we are. We're going to turn around, and the first piece is My Heart Hurts, and that is by Nick O'Hara. We would like to invite the poets Tricia Knudsen, Michelle Mendelson, and Carla Schwartz to the microphone to read their poems.
This is what I know.
Louder.
I can try. This idyllic space of farm and meadow, of forest and water, and birds and breezes, holds a special sort of magic. Only those with eyes wide open can attempt to understand her secrets. Some, not all, are evident to the most attuned. Others are left to be pondered in her timeless silences. I walk with intention to view, to listen closely, to feel, to study and make my notes. And the very first composition that greets me is a pile of large stones. And geese. This, I say to myself, is not so unusual. Stones and rocks hold many purposes on a farm. Walls, markers, fences, platforms, fire rings, even hammers in a pinch. But these are a sort of cairn, piled together in a kind of elegant tangle. Some askew, some blessedly reposed, as though angels have kissed their mottled surfaces and enchanted them to sleep. And there are hearts, heart stones, stone hearts. 3 of them, and perfect, a perfect trinity. Still, I think, these could surely hold some purpose, perhaps as gatekeepers or signage or millstones, though there is only one with a smallish, uncentered hole, so not millstones then. They are too flawlessly shaped to be natural. And look, there's something holding them. Wire. Barbed wire, blood red, entwined through the middle of one, stuffed into the small hole of another. And posts of wire all around, guarding, warning. One of the stones bleeds, cleaved straight through its center, a vertical vein with no bandage to stanch the flow. This is the work of man. And this is what I know of their purpose. They serve as mournful memorial, these living rocks, perhaps to a lost love long pined for, or in memory of the forefathers and foremothers who established this farm in her fruitful fields, or more largely, to the apathy that exists for our world and its resources. Maybe they stand in remembrance of the world's cruelty of war and man's evil against his brothers, or as monument to lost children and split families, or simply as prescient reminders of this ever-present fear of losing what we have long been so sure of. Yet look again, friend, into the center of that cleft, and you will find hope in the form of a tiny green leaf reaching.
Michelle.
Thank you. My poem is called Heartache. Some broken hearts heal with scar tissue, never to beat again. They live in protected bliss. Others barely heal before opening again and again, blood everywhere. What will become of mine?
And Carla.
You're ready.
Taking a picture, everyone smile.
Picture. Thank you. And so, my poem. It's hard to get when. Okay. My poem, in case you did buy the book, is heart shaped. Okay. Just so you know, and it's short. And it's called. Oh, did you want to take a picture of the heart shape? Anyway. So the poem is called My Heart Hurts, which is the name of the sculpture. A heart made of stone might be as hurtful as the barbing of wire, the wrapping of stones, wrapping of hearts, of broken hearts, of bleeding hearts, wire enmeshed in heart, barbed wire, the barbs of love. What is left but rubble? My heart, as witness, hurts. Thank you.
And our next piece of art is right there. Participatory lines. The artist is not here, but she's holding a branch out to me. Not just any branch, a walking stick, sturdy and limber and light. I take it. She smiles her thanks as if she knows it would feel natural in my hand. My thumb finds the knot just a few inches from the top, the way a sleeping infant's head might find that soft space between her mother's chin and breast. The artist is not here, but she knows her walking sticks are an invitation. One that says, "Good morning, how are you today?" There are no directions, no maps, no assumptions. The artist is not here, but she tells me these walking sticks don't expect anything. They only offer to be useful, to support, to help me get on my way. They are like Sherpas, lined up, stoic, and sure in their belief in themselves and why it is they're here. In this clearing, these branches are an oblation, as if the woods herself is bending down, holding out her hand, reaching for mine, and saying, "Come in, come in."
Yeah, next with me, yeah.
I am for September, recherche in her arrival, oranging of leaves, droning of yellow jackets, reddening of ivy, fall of footsteps. You visit often, and each step is a question, as if by returning you remember why it is you've come. Tulandanasana means balancing stick. Virabhadrasana means warrior one. Samasthiti means equal standing. Last night I dreamt it was me coming here to find you. At first I was lost, searching, and then there. I studied your bronze forms, where the features of your face should be, how you're cemented to stone. In my sleep, I could feel my heartbeat, my breath come and go. I could feel summer as she extricates herself from our conversation. And I was alive. Understand, I need you, even as we wonder about each other. Each of my shapes, 3 different poses, your curious eyes seeking. Aren't we both art? Now we're going to go down.
Our Bremen is not here. He's not here, but I invite Chelsea Bradley to come here. I'm reading his poem, and then you read yours, okay?
Okay, come back. Which one is this? Sorry.
Now it's R. Bremner.
Our Twisted Lines by R. Bremner.
Thank you. Twisted Lines by R. Bremner. In the lapse of a dying moment, I spot a bowing yellow line, twisting along a copse to a clearing, and find I am forced to follow that twisted line to a twisted path, to a twisted future. That is my life. And I realize for the first time how twisted is my past, how twisted is all that I am. And I wonder, can I ever untwist and live an untwisted life in an untwisted world with untwisted people, when suddenly the yellow line is hers and laughs. No, you can't, you fool. You are forever twisted, just like all of the rest of the multitude. And I strangle the twisted yellow line till it lies limp and fallow, and hope the untwisting can begin. Now Chelsea! Okay. Showtime.
Okay, yellow line. The rain dances on the yellow line. Teeny pinging sounds can be heard throughout the woods. Almost whispering, take the road less traveled. Join me on this path to new beginnings. A roll of thunder pushes by. I pick up my heavy, mud-caked boots, one step in front of the other. I close my eyes, imagining your hand in mine. I cannot do this alone. I feel your warmth beside me. Your letters and poems in a pile, scattered in a landfill. How I wish I could take it all back. Scream, yell, plead. It was the wrong path. The rain washes the salty tears from my cheeks. The winding yellow line pulls me on. I will search for you. I will blurt out the words I've held in my heart for years. You will give me that crooked smile as to say, no words needed. Here I will wait, my heart full of your love and friendship. Until then, my mud-caked boots trudge along the yellow line, waiting for the phone to ring, waiting for you to be behind the next door until we meet again.
You need that. Now you have a big kitty outside there, you can see. So you would like to invite the poets Anna A. Friedrich and Jen Adams to read their poems.
Is she silent in her stalking? Will this pose break into fight? Or is this feline friendly cartoon for my delight? Her claws are hidden somewhere, but she cuts me down to size. Her lips look made for kissing, but beware those empty eyes. Am I prey or master? Does she play? Will she bite? This kitty seems divided. Kitty is black and white.
The cat. All cat lives matter, regardless of origin, sex, size, or color.
We are at the Mossy Meditation Labyrinth, and this is Michelle Emerson reading her poem.
This one's called Move. Breathe. Take a step. The war is over. A new journey unfolds. Breathe. Take a step. Don't be discouraged by dead ends, retraced nightmares, wild tornadoes, silent dark nights. Breathe. Take a step. Moist green moss will soothe failing feet. Living soil supporting the soul in its fight. Breathe. Take a step down the chosen path. The goal is still in sight.
And our next poet is none other than the wonderful Cynthia.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, my head's so cool. Treasure. Moss, rocks, path, labyrinth. Everything displayed on the ground as a map that leads us on a journey of self-discovery. Our footprints mark a new path to be traveled toward what is precious. But who is genuinely ready to advance here barefoot? Labyrinths are made to protect lands, treasures, and our sacred secrets. Slowly, they are showing us the way, encouraging us to move forward, slowing our pace, and arriving at the center, our center. I can feel myself part of the spiral of life and creation, as well as the four directions. Labyrinths are powerful tools of spiritual growth and healing. I invite you to walk here, enter and follow the path. Feel free of any expectations. Open your heart and enjoy the crossing. Each time your perspective changes here, you realize that you are practically never facing the same direction for a long time. The change of perspective helps us to reconnect with your own knowledge and wisdom. And this unique experience becomes our real treasure. Thank you. Thank you.
Of aluminum wire, planted on their own. Oak leaves, a chorus of leaves. There are few oak trees around, but the big one here, almost gone, almost dead. So many dead branches, just a little bit of life, of leaves at the top. So the light comes through, reflecting these leaves. They're metal, and the leaves are like hands waving, saying, hello, hear me, hear me, hear me, hear me. Here I am, here I am, and me, yes me, yes me. Let me catch the sun, let me catch the sun. And we will be here, and we will wave to you, and we can wave and breathe. We breathe because a canopy has opened beneath this tree, this oak tree, our mother, dying.
Thank you.
Thank you. Studies have shown that 102 wonderful moments are missed in between mortgage payments. This is called What Works. As the sun sets, birds sing over 1,000,000 battles won, but I still haven't gotten all my things done. Everyone has the chance to stand and marvel at these shiny leaves, but that's not what works and what buys you silk shirts. Glittery webs are fleeting. Remember their perks, because they'll never be back when you get back from work. Their unexpected gestures might be by long after flies have gone and died, and that's when it really hurts. It's not clear what works and what doesn't. It's not clear what flies and what won't, but it's easy to ignore a bright twisting light, a curvy shining artifice perfect and right. Experience ages everyone nicely, though illness is a fear for just one. These crooked hands lead to safety, so why walk when you should run? Your Darwin is cautious yet friendly. Our Darwin is sickly and cruel. But that's if our heads are gifts and our parents thrived in the present. Or were they about 3/4 adrift? They weren't shocked when their jewels spent most of their souls in their school, because they raised those fools and planted that coal in their heads. Gnarled arms that grew from the farm wisely knead out the dough, yet shrug with knowing experience when asked which way we should go. Because it's not clear what works and what doesn't. It's not clear what flies and what won't. But never ignore a bright twisting light, a curvy, shiny artifice, perfect and right.
Anna Friedrich and Kim Beckham to read their poems.
Oh, wow. This is freaky. I call it Hope Nurtures Hope.
Wind whistles through candy-colored sticks, dangling from tree to tree to tree. Gently they bump one another, like children in a cafeteria line, a jumbled dance, complete with giggles and musical chirps that surround me. Their hopes ride the breeze like maple seeds in summer, soaring first, then gently twirling downward to the earth, in the hope that they may take hold and grow into peace, joy, love, and more hope.
Thank you.
Try breathing more than that.
That's okay.
So this is actually a found poem. So it's phrases from a bunch of different pieces on the trail that I took from the artist statements or from other signs in the woods or from even instructions about how to interact with the pieces. And I came up with the idea literally under the hope sticks. So that is its title. Under the hope sticks, painted and hung with fishing line, as if hope is both caught and worked on. It's just a long title. A mutual exchange in our local shrinking jungle. Thresholds fall and spring in clearings full of ivy. Mossy trails lead to an altar. Leave something. Aluminum leaves evoke under the broken oak honored. I am very old, she warns. Take a stick from the sculpture, we're told, but place it back for the next pilgrim.
Thank you.
Catherine, would you like to explain?
My drink cup is over there, just so you know. Is water?
It's empty.
Okay.
It's for my next refill of Prosecco. So for those of you who did not come to the opening in June, these wings represent, or were wings that were worn by a dancer who came and did a performance piece here. It was very unusual. One woman had a goat head on and a white hazmat suit. And she was sitting on that log right there, taking notes, while the other dancer danced quite beautifully, came out from behind the tree and did an amazing dance. And what they wanted was they wanted people to put these wings on themselves. But when I asked, and this is totally true, when I asked for the 100 words or less for the little sign, she gave me way more than I could fit, and the last sentence said, "Try these on if you want," and I had to cut that part out. So you're welcome to come and try them on. They just unhook from the nails there, and you can wear the wings for the rest of the night. I give you full permission. But that's sort of the background of this piece, and so I hand the mic over to Patrick Steele.
Formations, entranced wings. Okay, Major Tom, it's takeoff time. Wriggle up onto this trunk, say your prayers, and be off. These wings connect to your spirit wirelessly without thoughts. If you must know, they're from no place to see. None of this is going to matter once you're up there. You won't weigh anything. These wings don't weigh anything. There's no wax to melt. Branches have twice the lift of feathers. Use your own tail to steer. They can go fast and handle turns, but you're only going up, ascending, past the herons, the hawks, the eagles. No, there's no place to sit. Not a bed, a beanbag, a bench, a bidet. You could rest in the air, just don't flap. I gave you life cereal too. You won't run out. This is the last thing you will have to be told. I love you. Drop a penny or a stone, I will find it.
Now free dance. When you see the wings carefully left on the tree, you remember the beauty of the live movement when nature danced. The observation, the interaction, and the connectivity filled all that environment, like pure music, echoing along the trail. The curiosity between the different species, the fear of approaching, the uncertainty about the new and the change, all this imprisons us, strips us of our wings, keeps us from flying high and discovering a new world. To trust, to accept the change that the encounter provides in ourselves is a rich experience of life, with deep roots in the natural world, from where we all come, humans or animals. It's like two sets that allow one to interweave and transform that intersection into the best version of each, recycling themselves, individually and collectively. With complete respect for nature, with the conscious use of technology, and with balance, the different species will interact for much longer. It's our mission to investigate. It's our mission to connect. It's our mission to learn, and more than that, survive. Let's dance. Thank you.
It is the first time the artist has heard poetry written about their art. And in fact, the first time the artist and the poet have met. So that's kind of a special moment because one made the art and the other spent a lot of time thinking about it, and they're in the book together. So Lansing and Patrick have met. Yay!
Don't get stolen.
Mounds. These houses can spin and they can travel. They catch light, water, and clean the air. They are soundless within, so our voices carry. There are no corners to put your boxes. Burn them. Your father and I wrapped boughs through the winter. Now my own hands move and look like sticks. My grandfather said, if you build it in days, it will last for days. Everything I thought was firm is a wet ruin, run through with worms. Only in these eternal leaves will you have the peace to give thanks. When you climb the edge to leap, start looking for your own sight. These will always be here for you.
The nest. Big Bird rested here before landing on the moon. A real space cadet.
Thank you.
Thank you. And reading first is Sarah.
This poem is very much in response to this piece, but perhaps even more, it's in response to an unexpected installation that those of you who walk these trails may have seen after the heavy rains that we had in the summer. I came here with my daughter. I probably don't need this actually. I came here with my daughter after the rains, and walking just this stretch that we walked, we noticed an amazing collection of forest debris that the rainwaters had gathered and then left behind. And just the beauty of that unexpected installation really struck me, and I thought this art show is doing so much of what it's meant to do when it also helps us to see our surroundings in ways that we haven't, and that was one of those occasions for me. So this is called After the Rain. See, water leaves footprints like ours on this trail. Twig, needle, half needle, leaf bone gathered by runoff to catch, eddy, then rest. Does the spirit brood over a deluge too? Woven heap, something of a nest.
These installations, like some inverted offering, speak themselves from the forest floor. Think of Noah after the flood, opening the door and wandering the washed earth, shore to miraculous shore, as if it were a gallery, as if it had been born. What could he say to the braided, broken limbs, the bones somehow bettered by their waterlogged end? Did he kneel down, whisper, "Friend, friend"? Did he hold the breath he was given? Does this offend? Build an altar then, as Noah did. Spend each day tracing patterns, placements, contours your own small floods leave. There you will find the gift of it, the impossible rattle of the hope of it, the winged rise of the mythical bird from the ash of it.
And Ken Beckham.
Oh, no poison ivy, thank you. I call this one the lightness of becoming. I have risen not from ashes, but from earth. No drama, no burning, no resurrection. There was only the fragile recovery of an unfamiliar lightness of being, the lightness of becoming that came from the letting go. I rose from the forest floor an empty shell, a simple framework, fulfilled now by the absence of all those things that had weighed me down. I have risen that I may now soar. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, inspired by Waders by Martha Winston, you would like to invite the poets Trisha and Carla. You'll be the next one there. Oops, close to the lake.
How to find peace in such ordered chaos. I was raised on this land. From the time I could walk, I had chores to do. Every body is needed for work on a farm. The first thing I can remember doing is feeding grain to the chickens and pigs, and giving hay and orchard apples to the horses. As I grew, those chores got bigger along with me. Up at dawn to milk the cows and let the horses out to run the pasture land. Then swallow down a quick breakfast and pack a lunch before the bus arrived to take me to school. Coming home meant studies between the second milking, hoeing rows and mowing fields. And even later in my sprouting, it meant planting corn and baling hay. It seemed in those summer days like the sun would never set. Whenever I caught a few minutes to myself, I'd take off through the woods in my waders, with my stick and string and its little hook, to fish the pond, finding my solace in its center, enjoying the blessed breeze. It's still peaceful there. Some days now, I go and sit by the water's edge, just to watch the tiny nymphs dance on its surface and listen to the trilling of the birds. Wayward ducklings follow the chipping of their mother through the bright water lilies now full of bloom, as bullfrogs, splayed in perfect float at the banks, call and answer in a low chorus. Every summer, tiny minnows still gulp at the break of the water above them as they pip up to catch the damselflies, busy in a game of chase with their mates above the rotting logs. They remind me of my children years ago at play, and now also my grandchildren, so full of the fury of happy living. Bright green cattails are growing to height here, soon to be ripe, waiting to be cut down and burned as punks to keep away the pests. I still remember the sweet cucumber taste of their young stalks. This is what draws me to the pond today. Only on this day, I arrive to find, hung upon a sturdy branch and dripping along the shore, a new pair of waders, and a piece long remembered fills my heart to overflowing.
yeah. She's like, okay.
Oh, hi. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Thank you.
This is called, oh, and I believe this water is called the ice pond. And so this is called the waders at the ice pond. Listen, the continued ache of the frogs. Bubbles form on the water's surface. The ice pond, thawed now, swells with decay, swells with life, and the leaves swirling in the wind wish you well as you sit in a chair by the pond. Lilies bloom, their pads insect-pocked, drifting. Trees sway, water whispers, birds trill, happy with insects. Algae forms on algae time. These waders of chicken wire and gauze, green as spring, algae green, sprinkled with maple keys, say, watch, say, listen, say, be part of me. I'm made of you. I, ice pond.
Thank you.
Slight detour. This beautiful nest is next. And I'd like to introduce again Zachary Boss, who's our poetry contest winner, and he's going to read his poem, 13 Aspects of a Nest. He's got a good voice.
My wife is going. There's three terms that I'll clarify because they're not explained in the poem. One is thin place, and in the Celtic esoteric tradition, that's a place where the worlds come together. Timanos in ancient Greek is an area of land set aside for use by the sacred, and omphalos means belly button or navel. Refers to the navel of the world, where the world was born from, at Delphi. 13 aspects of a nest. 1. Definition. On the dry gold straw beneath the pine boughs, an outline of leafless vine has been laid and braided into a fence, a rough ring, a human-sized nest for us to crouch in, pretend to be unfledged and soft again. 2. Teeth and tongue. Symbols untended hatch into live sounds. Kraal, kettle, cradle, bed. Glucopikron, in Sappho's wicker work, means sweet bitter. Skeleton soma means the body grave parched, from skele, to make dry, to wither. 3. Materials. The ring is bare, sky over, earth under. The vine is sinew wrapping airy bone. Given time, the gaps in the walls would fill with dust and swallowwort. Bees would brick it with honeycomb. Cobwebs would flesh the limbs. 4. Who wears it rules. Under the columns and beams of the pines, we ride in a crown on a giant's skull, a crow's nest crown. The word from corona, a wreath. Cousin to corone, something curved from the Greek root scare, to turn. 5. Mushrooms. A scattering of horns and pedestals and yellow spotted parasols have thrust through the pine straw, and soft white-veiled eggs, too, sap spattered, mouse chewed. Inside the nest we have trampled small toadstools to gold fragments. 6. Rock meat. A great bird opens its clawed foot and we tumble into its nest. We are stolen sailors, delivered for the nestling's meal. Its wings are as broad and sky-darkening as the outspread limbs of a full-grown pine. 7. Timanos. The ground beneath the pines is clear of fern and dodder and doll's eye and verbinum. All's ready for the woven ring and its holy purpose, protection, or augury, or metaphor, some kind of threshing floor. 8. Halo. From Greek salo, salt, or sea in Homer, in those old stories. Or else from halos, the flat disk of the sun or moon, the bright ring of light encircling the sun or moon, the bright disk of a shield, a saintly glow. 9. Paired images. The threshing ground where the dry stalks are thrashed until the husks release their grain. The sky where winds tangle, conceive, and drop their rain. Halcyon, salt, or sea, and Kion, to swell. The cumulus of cloud birth, a harvest. 10. Philosophy. Oh, of course it is a symbol for love. A great many problems were born when man first laid down a boundary, declaring, all this circle contains is mine. The lop limbs of dry vine are ligatures of dead wood. 11. Lady slippers. The deflated sacks of wilted orchids hang wattle soft off the ends of their stems. Jubilee is brief. This is a thin place. Its protection lasts just an afternoon. What does the woven ring keep out? Keep in. 12. Stillness. Ring-necked snakes will sleep curled in the needles. Wasps will sleep in their galls. Aphids will sleep heaped among siblings, clinging to rose canes. The ring is an omphalos, a twisting scar where this world breaks from the one before. 13. Invitation. So, nest in my worry for you. It keeps as long as any paradise or walled garden. Let us pile up pine needles, sleep in the ring, peer through the enclosure to watch night's ghost plants prickle through the straw.
Intertwined. In this wood, bittersweet vines creep, wrap, and twist like something from the Tolkien forests of Middle-earth, taking hold of saplings and imposing their strength, encroaching on the personal space of birch, pine, and oak, becoming part of a landscape while choking it. Like so many vines brought here from the east in the cargo holds of ships, we are planted in this community and take root, weave into each other's lives and make a place for ourselves. I resist being one of the many marked matching pines in the grove, or a stone in a quarry of gray rocks. And yet, as the sunflower leans to the sun, I lean to the sameness of this town and homogenize. I blend in to survive, and as well to belong. We learn how to live side by side, to tolerate, if not support each other, and even to welcome our differences. We become entwined and connected, part of something, part of each other, part of a community.
And now we head to the beast.
The beast.
Yeah, let's go.
So the name of this poem is Shared Space. I come to these woods for solace, for fresh forest air, a salve for my soul. Here a canopy of green shelters me, inviting me to let go of cares and hurts, real and imagined, as I walk. breathing the scent of pine, in and out, in and out. It's a thin place for me, between time and space, fertile with possibility. As I enter the woods today, I sense a presence that doesn't belong. Something within my evergreen cathedral is disturbing the peace. I hear a robin's warning, and through slender trunks, I see it. A nightmare of genetics is loose in my woods. It looms before me, gigantic and boar-like. Fearsome jaws open to crush and devour. I feel a chill, and my heart skips as time stops. Frozen in place, I wonder who is faster. I imagine his terrible teeth snapping off an arm, a leg, my neck. Everything within me says to run, but I dare not turn my back. I crouch within a stand of ancient trees, quaking. Then I notice what fear first eclipsed. His sides are heaving with effort. Spent breaths rack his once magnificent body as he rests from some epic battle. Jagged wound running jaw to shoulder, evidence of his mortality. His massive head swings toward me, and I know he has my scent. No, he could kill me where I stand. No, this could be my last breath. Yet I am rooted to the spot, still, waiting. We stand like gunslingers, watching for a sign to draw, but my pocket only holds a cell phone. I am barely breathing. I listen as he breathes in and out, in and out. I look into his eyes, weary and fraught with pain, and what I see is another flesh and blood creature in need of the wood's solace even more than I. In that spacious, crystalline moment, molecules shift, and there is once again room to breathe. We stand together, still, waiting. A branch snaps to my left, and his great head swings toward the sound. Placing one cloven hoof after the other, he turns away. I watch in awe, grateful for each breath, as he slowly disappears deeper into the woods we now share.
And Sarah, if you'll come and read your poem. Now, Sarah's poem received honorable mention from Dee Dee Jackson, our final judge.
Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
In the back? Okay,
She's
great.
got a great voice.
This poem is called Explanations, and it's for my daughter Lily and my son Jacob. Here misgivings are merited. Always you hear things in these woods. Ask to rush past this very spot. So today, I'm glad you are not with us to do the hard work of bridling the reflex to run, reach for rock, limb. Listen, my son. Your sister froze with wonder so complete she whimpered silently as I stalked the woven beast. Just sticks, grass, I tell her to tell myself as the teeth of it sinks its life in me. Stones, just rocks and stones. Is it there? She asks days later. Is it real alive? It's there, I say, round the counter, repeat, but not alive, no, not real. She is not deceived. This, the art of indwelling, sculpted beast pawing the earth wildly right here in me.
And Wendy, who is also the recipient of an honorable mention.
Ooh.
You know, I'm so short. I'm going to go in front.
Be
Because
careful.
I can't
Be careful.
see.
Just saying. Be careful.
If I can clip this, then I can have a hand free. Thank you, thank you. A very thick jacket. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. Well, it's interesting that all three of us responded with a primal sense of fear. It's a wonderful piece.
It really is.
My poem is called Epic, and there's an epigraph by Michael Crummy. The earth collects on all its debts. Beast, with your bronzed fur of reeds and twigs, your stone teeth, your hooves, stone cloven, the stripe of sumac threaded through your flank, whirl of your woven ear, the snarl of you moving through the gape of your snout, bristling comma of tail where the spider has knit its web. And Teledont, you are the dark other who makes the small mammal in me shudder. You swept through the Oligocene's long wake, peering back, late and strange. We too wear ourselves thin. When we are as you have become, who will know us? Who will call us by the hard-washed light of our name? Thank you.
Desolate pods. You and I have walked enough tonight. We'll use this to glide through the still forest. Part the boughs as kin, brushing the fern tops. We'll carry these lamps of quiet. In these we can notice, does the night mist gather or pass? And how far is left to go?
Just some quick notes. We're going to hear these last two poems after Woman Resting by Soren Vika. And then we're going to invite Anna to come read her epilogue poem. And then we're going to take some photos. So this is great light for right now. So if you're an artist or a contributor in any way, a poet, please stay for photos after. But for right now, I'd like to introduce Leslie Linebarger reading her poem.
Can everyone hear me? This piece, and I'm so thrilled to be able to meet the artist of it, seemed to me playful, and it evoked a story or fable, so that's where I went with it. It's called Degrees of Latitude. In sleep, she lies like one enchanted, and the forest responds in kind. The woods didn't know she'd awakened that morning and thought, I'd like to learn a new dance. Only that she suddenly appeared in their midst, striding boldly over fallen logs in platform shoes. The stones paid no heed to her vintage ballroom gown, choosing instead to stay put, anonymously culpable, as forging her own path, she stumbled and fell headlong. The leaves above her wove a confining hairnet, whispering adages about the inadequacies of hand-drawn maps. But she didn't come to the woods to hear what she already knew. Shoes discarded now, she lies barefoot as any proper forest dweller, long hair firmly tethered, earthbound. She sleeps as one unconscious, Gulliver-like. Her dreams fill these shadowed woods with music yet unwritten. As suddenly awakening for the second time that day, she hears a voice, not unlike her own, giving her bearings and coordinates for the path she must take, choreographing her next moves, loosening the ties that bind. In sleep she lies like one enchanted, but not for long.
And we invite Chelsea Radway back.
So as a woman, I don't know, like unlike the rest of you women, we don't really rest ever.
When we do,
it's quite lovely. That's right. Woman resting. Exhale. 1, 2, 3. Ocean lapping at her feet. Beckoning her into the warmth. Come away with me. Exhale. 1, 2, 3. Not a sound for miles. She smiles to herself. This is perfect. Even just for a moment. Exhale. 1, 2, 3. She tosses her dreams into the deep blue, wondering if they will search for her. She remembers the phrase, dream big, my love. Exhale. 1, 2, 3. She closes her eyes. If just for a moment, or a century, the sun dances on the trees, she can still taste yesterday's gin on her lips. Exhale. This is what freedom feels like. A wing tattoo is a constant reminder of you. Your gaze, your intensity, your arms keeping me safe and warm. Exhale. 1, 2, 3. I am transcended by a cool breeze as all the fear has left me now. So, just for a moment, I will be still. I am woman resting.
Thank you. And Anna Friedrich wrote a lovely poem that I thought was the perfect epilogue piece for our moving celebration.
It's titled No Art. Not K-N-O-W, but N-O. No art. There is no art in these woods. Only long-held intention, reverence, and action. There is no art in these woods. Only mystery in misappropriated leaves, mythical forms unborn and present. There is no art in these woods, only tunnels and horns, a playful ferocity, the cat and mouse dance with bloodied lips, let's be honest. There is no art, only sharp lines erect and rounded shapes shivering together, green on green on green, the freshness and decay.
Once again, I stand here at the end of an amazing season with an amazing group of artists, and I'm really near tears. I cannot tell you the joy that this brings me and how special it is that you're all here with me. So I ask all of the poets and all of the artists to please come up. Chelsea, you're going to have somebody else take the picture. And not Patrick, because Patrick has to come up too. We take a group picture here before it gets too dark, and you'll all get a copy of it for your memories. And I once again, before you all leave, thank you and hope you come again in future years and enjoy these woods, even without the art.